Hey everyone. Thanks for listening to the Diet Diaries today. Let me get this microphone fixed a little bit here. All right. So let's see. This episode is airing. It's Monday, May 11th, I think. And where I live in New Jersey, our weather's been really inconsistent, but we have had definitely some hot days. And I wanted to talk about, so weird. Sorry, there's like a weird thing going on with GarageBand as I'm recording this. I wanted to talk about summer clothes and summer dressing because we are like coming into the prime season of I can't wear that. I don't have the body for that stuff. Like a lot of noise around that. I know I've worked with so many clients over the years who have had real mental struggles with the season of summer because of the clothes. And I'm not even talking about just bathing suits. I'm talking about shorts and t-shirts and tank tops and having to wear clothes that just cover less of your body because it's hot, right? And how to deal with that. So I wanted to talk through that today. And I wanted, as I always try to do, give you guys some skills to experiment with, to walk away with a couple of things, sometimes even just one thing, to practice specifically, to go off and experiment with, and then ask yourself, how did that work? How did that work for me? What did I notice? What worked well? What didn't work well? So let's kind of dive into it here, right? Like I want you to think for a moment, what piece of clothing you have said to yourself, I can't wear that. And alongside that, I don't have the body for that, right? Because I can't wear that is pretty much, I don't have the body for that in like sheep's clothing. It's a slightly nicer way of saying it. And I want you to think about what that item of clothing has been for you. And then I want you to start to like dig a little bit deeper. Like, what's the story there? Because my first question is, do you want to be able to wear that, right? Because I will tell you that for me, that piece of clothing would be something like really form-fitting and tight around the center of the body, like around the belly. And I definitely have some more fitted t-shirts. I definitely wear stuff like that now more. Years ago, I would not. And for a long time, two-piece bathing suits, right? I don't have the body to wear a two-piece or a certain type of two-piece or like a string bikini or whatever it is. And I want you to think about, do you want to be able to wear that thing? Because you might not want to wear that thing, right? Do you really care about it? Is it negatively impacting your life? Is not wearing this thing bothering you? Is it upsetting you? Because if it's not, and you don't even care, okay, fine, like whatever. I know that's kind of like maybe a weird question and a weird way to start this off, but if you don't like care for that piece of clothing and it's not something you want to be able to wear, like, okay, well, fine, like it doesn't matter. Like here's where this is coming from. I spoke at a 55 and older community a couple of weeks ago, and I talked all about body image in front of like 70 women. It was really cool. And I was presenting and walking through like a couple of different skills that you can use to respond to like all of the noise in your head around your body and different kind of stories. And one of the women, she was like, I don't wear sleeveless shirts. She's like, but I'm fine with that, right? I am just more comfortable if I have something covering my arm and like, it doesn't bother me. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. And I was like, cool, that's not a problem then, right? So it's not like, well, you have to like wear this no matter what, or you have to want to wear this. That's not the case, right? If you're like, I just feel better if I have a sleeve over my arm and it doesn't bother me to not wear a sleeveless shirt or a tank top, I don't care. Fine. You're good. We don't need to problematize that. And I think sometimes like we do. And I think a lot of body image stuff does, right? Like again, comes back to how's that working for you? Is wearing t-shirts working for you? Cool. Is not wearing sleeveless shirts working for you? Yes. Cool. No, it's a problem. Okay, well then we need to look at this, right? So asking yourself that question, how is this working for me? How is not wearing this thing working for me? Is it causing a problem? Yes or no, right? Do I want to be able to wear that thing? Yes or no? That's kind of like your starting point. Like there were certain items of clothing where it's like, I don't really care about that, right? Like I don't really care to wear that. So if I don't love how it looks on my body, it doesn't bother me. But then other items of clothing where it's like, yeah, I would love to be able to wear that, right? I would love to be able to, wear like a certain style of bathing suit, right? Or I'd love to be able to wear like a more form-fitted top, and feel good about it versus feeling like, okay, my only option is to wear like baggy, flowy stuff. And then kind of like secondary to this, you really want to notice the language around this, right? Like how mean are you being to yourself, right? My legs are so fat and disgusting. I don't have I can't wear shorts. Something that might seem maybe a little less hard hitting, but again, I would say is a wolf in sheep's clothing. My legs look like tree trunks. I saw a stylist actually say that in an email once, and it like really got under my skin. And I'm sure she meant well, right? But I'm like, oh my God, the language that we use here, right? Saying that your legs look like tree trunks is not a helpful statement, right? Because tree trunks, we have opinions about tree trunks. Or tree stumps, right? They're generally things that we don't find to be that attractive, and it has a negative like intonation, a negative connotation is what I mean, right? Saying my legs look like a flower stem or something like that is going to have like a positive connotation, right? So the language that you use, the analogies that you make matter. And if you're saying to yourself, oh my God, my arms are so flabby and disgusting, I can't wear a sleeveless shirt, you want to notice that, right? And the first thing you can start to work on is taking that statement, which is like seething with judgment, right? A lot of self-judgment and criticism. And can you make it more objective, right? This is not me sitting here telling you that you need to say, oh, my arms look so beautiful and I love them and like I look fantastic. No, this is not that. This is not toxic positivity or false positivity or like, saying things that aren't true. This is taking a negative opinion and reframing it into a fact, right? My arms have loose skin and they look big. That's very different than saying my arms are flabby and disgusting. Very different. Even let's do the legs example, right? Instead of saying my legs are fat and look like tree chunks, my legs look bigger and wider, right? Much more objective, much more factual. Basically no judgment. It's an observation. It's kind of like a description. This is the difference between saying, oh my God, that flower is so beautiful and the colors are gorgeous, to that's a bright pink flower, right? Do you see the difference? One is an opinion and uses a lot of emotion, and one is just a objective description. How can you objectively describe your body without judging it, without criticizing it, without using negative language? Okay, that's kind of like your first place you're going to start with this. And then let's kind of get into like the clothes themselves, right? So this was something I worked through with a one-on-one client a couple of years ago, and it was amazing. And this is not just like a one-time thing, but I'm just going to kind of share her story specifically. She had shared with me that wearing sleeveless shirts was a thing for her, meaning like she did not feel comfortable wearing sleeveless shirts, but she really wanted to. And there was a lot of internal judgment around like, I should just be able to wear the shirt. Like, this is so ridiculous. Why am I so obsessed with this? Like, why is this taking up so much brain space? I can't believe how much time I'm spending thinking about sleeveless shirts and my inability to wear them, right? So there was feelings about the feelings, which happens all the time in this work, and like judgment about the judgment. So she really wants to be able to wear sleeveless shirts. One, to like work out in outside because it was more comfortable. And two, because like during the summer, she was getting hot. So for her, like wearing a t-shirt, it did not feel as good. It was not equal for her. It was not as comfortable. She felt more comfortable kind of physically, temperature wise, and in her body being able to wear a sleeveless shirt. So here's what we did. And the approach for this is not unlike approaches that we use when we're dealing with like really tricky, hard foods that take up a lot of brain space. And it's kind of going bit by bit. So it's taking the item of clothing you want to wear and just wearing it around the house when nobody else sees you. Literally when no one else sees you, right? If you don't care if like your partner or your kids see you, that's fine. But if you do, if you feel self-conscious around them, you're going to find times to do it when they're not around. Hopefully you can. And I just want you to get used to having this item of clothing on your body, seeing yourself in the mirror and just noticing what comes up, right? What's the noise? What's the language? What's the self-talk? We already talked through a skill to start to respond to that. So now is going to be a really perfect time to use that. And you're just going to notice how you feel. And you're going to do that a whole bunch of times. You're not just going to do it once. You're going to do it a lot. so that you can start to build up the experience of wearing this thing. Because honestly, when was the last time that you actually wore this thing, this item in question? It's probably been a really long time, I would bet. It hasn't been just a few months. It's probably been, I would venture to say, at least a couple of years. So what does it feel like to even have that on your body? What does it feel like emotionally, physically? What comes up for you? Do the thoughts you anticipated or expected having actually come? Or maybe it's different, right? How does it feel on your body? What level of comfort do you have? And then this can overlap into my favorite skill, LFC, love fits comfortable. Do you love the thing you have on? Does it fit and is it comfortable? Meaning it's not pushing, pulling, poking, it's not scratchy. That's what I mean by kind of physically comfortable. Don't put on like some ratty old, like let's just stay with this sleeveless shirt. Don't put on some like ratty old shitty sleeveless shirt that you have lying around, because that's not going to help your cause at all, because you're going to be like, this shirt's gross and ugly, I don't even like it. Put on something that you like. Put on something that you would want to wear out at some point. I'm not talking about like, a dress with a zipper necessarily. I mean, maybe, but something that you can wear around your house, but that you would want to leave the house in, right? Not something like shitty and old that like you don't give a shit about. It's got to be something you actually like. That's the first step. Okay. Next step is going to be, you're going to wear it out of the house on like a low-key errand. Low-key. To the grocery store, the drugstore, the car wash, I don't know, whatever, low-key. Something where you feel like you probably maybe won't see a lot of people excuse me. But if you do, it would like not be a big deal. So grocery store may or may not be that for you. But I want you to think of something. You're going to think of it in advance because you're not going to have to plan this out, right? You're going to think of like, okay, where am I going to wear this sleeveless shirt or these shorts out to? And you're going to do that. And you're going to see how it feels. How does it feel to wear this thing out of the house? And again, you're noticing, you're checking in. What is the self-talk? What's the noise that's coming up? Is it what you expected? Is it not what you expected? If it is what you expected, like the really mean, nasty, bitchy stuff, how are you responding to it? Are you letting it spiral? Are you being like, yeah, I do look fucking disgusting. I am gross. I can't wear this. Or are you responding with a factual, objective statement about your body? Right? Because that's the work. Continuing to let yourself spiral is going to feel like the thing you want to do. Because sometimes, yeah, let's be real. Like it just feels good to like sit in that like sucky feeling and just be like, this fucking sucks. I'm never going to be able to wear this. I'm gross. I need to lose 20 pounds. Why can't I get my shit together? Why can't I go to the gym? I'm like, my eating's out of control, right? That's one story. Another story is like, I'm doing everything right. Why am I not losing weight, right? There's, depending where you are, there's different kind of internal stories. It's not one thing for everybody, although you've probably experienced variations of these over the years. But letting that spiral out of control is not ultimately helping you. It might kind of feel good in some weird backwards way, and I'm saying that from experience in the moment, but long term, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, a week, a month, a year later, it's not, because it's just keeping you stuck. So using this internal, like responding to that noise with this flip of like, it's my brain just like literally emptied out of all of its contents as I'm speaking. A factual, objective statement about what my body looks like. In addition to making sure that you're wearing something that you love or at least really, really like, that fits you and is comfortable. Again, not some old shitty thing that you pulled out of your closet. Coupling those things together. So that's your next step, is wearing it out of the house to one errand. And then you're going to slowly build up from there, right? Maybe it's wearing it out to dinner with your family. Maybe it's wearing it out with some close girlfriends, people that you feel comfortable with, that you feel safe with, right? I'm not talking about suddenly, wearing it for like a day in the city with like people you haven't seen in a while, or wearing something like this to work if it was appropriate. Eventually, maybe, yeah, shorts might not be appropriate for work, but you kind of get the idea. You are slowly building up your capacity, your tolerance, your experience of wearing this thing while you're also working on internal skills. While you're also layering in this idea of, do I love this? Does it fit? Is it comfortable? Because if it doesn't check those three boxes, what I'm talking about in this episode primarily is never going to get you anywhere. Because wearing clothes that you don't love or that you don't even really like, certainly that don't fit and that aren't comfortable, is going to make the whole thing a non-starter, because you're just going to be focused on that. You're not going to be able to focus on, what does it feel like to actually wear this thing on my body? So that's kind of some support for you. And so I think I was telling a story of a client. I totally got sidetracked. Her sleeveless shirt was her thing. And we went through this process, right? She started wearing the sleeveless shirt around the house. And I remember her saying to me, like, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I had kind of built it up to be this thing that was worse. And I was able to kind of wear the shirt and look at myself in the mirror and be like, I don't love how my arms look, but I also like don't hate them. They're just kind of there. And it feels so comfortable to be able to wear this that's a plus for me. That's a win. And then she did the next step. So she wore it around the house. Then she did the next step. She wore it out. I don't remember where. But I remember her coming back and telling me, I think it was a family barbecue. This is like coming back to me now. It was a family barbecue. And I remember her telling me this on one of our calls. And I was like waiting, listening for her to tell me like what that was like. And she was like, you're not going to believe this. I wore a sleeveless shirt out to a family barbecue. She's like, and it was fine. You know, because what I haven't talked about is the whole, what are other people going to think of what I'm wearing? Are they going to be judging me? Are they going to be looking at me? And look, the reality of that, without spending another 20 minutes talking about this, is that you don't know. You don't know what someone is thinking. They could be thinking that. Sure, they might. They could also be thinking, damn, she looks really good in that. They could also be not paying one iota of attention to you, which honestly is likely 99% what's happening. This is about pulling all of this inwards and doing this from a values-driven standpoint, not from a what do other people think of what I'm going to look like standpoint, because you never know. So you can walk around making assumptions about what people are thinking and you have no idea if that's what's actually happening. You know what you do know? What you're thinking and feeling inside your own body and making decisions off of something that you actually have confirmation of versus something that's a wild fucking guess. Although I know it's so easy to do that, right? I get it, but I did want to kind of mention that because it fits in. Like I remember her saying like, she was like, I was just with my family. So it felt like a safe, comfortable space of people who weren't going to judge her. She was like, and I was just there. I was just with my family, enjoying the moment. Like I wasn't even thinking about my arms. I was just with my people. And that's the thing, right? If you slowly expose yourself to doing this in ways that in situations and with people and circumstances that feel comfortable, you're going to find that you are so focused on that experience that you're not going to be thinking as much about your body. That's also why wearing something that you love, fits, and comfortable is such a big part of this. Because if you're not, then your brain is going to go, oh, fuck, this is tight, this is pushing, this is itchy, this is stretchy. Oh, this looks ugly. That's going to be distracting. And she was surprised. She was like, I couldn't believe I did it. And then she started wearing sleeveless shirts. And then she wore one to work. And again, I remember her saying, I wore one to work. And she was like, it was fine. And it felt so nice to like have that freedom and flexibility to wear these clothes, to be more physically comfortable in the summer. So I'm not like, she used to tell me she would like sweat like at her desk and she'd be so uncomfortable. She's like, it felt so good. And again, she said to me, she's like, do I love how my arms look? No. But do I love having the flexibility of wearing this and like feeling kind of more comfortable physically in my body? Yes, I love that. And that feels good. And I love the top and it's pretty and it looked nice with this outfit, right? So it starts to kind of like diversify the experience of wearing something from your dislike and discomfort with that body part to all of the other experiences of wearing it, right? What does it feel like physically? Does it allow me to be more comfortable? Does it give me flexibility with my wardrobe or where I'm going or what I'm doing? And do I like this thing? And what kind of outfits can I make with it? There's so many experiences of wearing clothes in addition to, how it relates back to a specific body part. So I think that's where I'm going to leave you today. I think I've given you a lot of stuff to think about and some really specific stuff to walk away with and practice. And like really a step-by-step process, a system to start to work on this if you want to. And I'd love to hear how this goes for you. So come back. I am always on the other side of these podcasts, right? Podcasting is a very one-sided form of content, but you can DM me on Instagram. You can send me an email. And I will respond to you 110% of the time. There's like literally nothing excites me more when someone sends me a message and be like, hey, I listened to your podcast and XYZ. Fucking makes my day. And you're likely to get some free coaching as well. So there's that too. So thank you for listening. Share this with any of the women in your life who might need to hear it. We are coming into this season and I want you guys to walk into this summer feeling a little bit better than you did last summer. right? Not erasing, not being like, oh, I've got this, I've nailed this, and I fucking love my body. No, but to have some skills in place, to know what to do, to know how to respond. You deserve that. You deserve that. And it is possible for you. So I'll be back next week. See you soon.